Alrighty, we're looking at question number 12. Something to note about question number 12. I have not covered the topic of this in class this year. If you're watching this right now from my 2018-2019 class, make sure you check out the link that I'm going to add here that talks more about completing the square. If you're watching from somewhere else and this video is not a good enough explanation of completing the square, make sure you follow the link that I'll hopefully put in the description to point towards a better description of what completing the square is used for. Right now I'm just going to show you how to get this answer done, assuming that you know completing the square, and move on to the next question. So over here they've got a quadratic equation. It looks like this. They're trying to rewrite it in some weird form over here. And it says Q is a constant, P is a constant. What's the value of P? If you know completing the square, this should look like that to you. You should be like, oh yes, this is what completing the square is about. Just to recall how you complete the square, what you do is if it's in equals 0 form, this one wasn't, but if it's in equals 0 form, you just got to move all the constants over until you've got something like x squared, x equals, and then a constant number. We're already there, so we can move right into completing the square. What you do here is you take your b term, the one next to an x, you take that, you divide it by 2, and then you square the whole thing. And you take this and you add it to both sides over here. So this is going to become x squared minus 6x plus, well, let me see, 6 over 2, negative 6 over 2 is negative 3 squared, which is really going to be 9. So I'm going to be adding 9 to both sides. So plus 9 equals 12 plus 9. I mean, that's really it, right? I'm pretty much done at this point. Oh, well, no, we got to do the factoring part. So now I've got x squared minus 6x plus 9. I need to be able to factor this into something squared equals, this is going to end up as 21. So again, factoring here, I'm going to find what two numbers add to negative 3 and multiply to positive 9, because we're doing that reverse FOIL. And it's pretty easy. It's going to be this number right over here, right? X minus 3. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So this is going to end up being what they were looking for. They were looking for P here. If they're looking for Q, it would have been 21. If you have not seen a completing the square video before, this is not really teaching you how to do it. It's just doing it assuming you know it. So please try to find a better description of a completing the square video to learn this skill. Though that being said, completing the square maybe shows up once on a Regents exam for Algebra 1. You might use it in geometry later, you'll use it in Algebra 2 a little bit, but for Algebra 1, you're kind of unlucky if it shows up even just once. Anyways, the correct answer for this is negative 3. It is answer choice 3.